Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning, and welcome to this Specialist Trading educational presentation. Now, today I want to talk to you about building a trading plan. The reason is because most people think they have a trading plan. I'm sure many of you think you do as well. But most students, I'm not saying you, but most students actually come to becoming members of Specialist Trading with a trading plan, and it's very faulty. It's based on things that are non-consistent and that really have no levels of consistency through the periods of time. It's just that we've been sold a bill of goods and we've been told through traditional wisdom that these things are supposed to work. And maybe they work for a certain amount of time, but actually when it comes down to it, over time, you see they really have nothing to show for it. Now, what if you were able to build a trading plan that was based off consistency, that was based off knowledge and things that have stood the test of time, roughly decades, maybe even centuries? Well, this is why Pro Trader Strategies and myself formulated the new course. This is the PTS Primo Charts University. This is where we mold the two things together, all of the information and knowledge I've accumulated in my over 4 decades of trading seamlessly with our new platform, the PTS Primo Charting Platform, so that you can discover and put together your own trading plan. For instance, this is the way most traders would trade. When we're coming into February and March, we see that the market was going steadily higher. In fact, every time we had a small or minor little sell-off, the market would bounce right back and eventually make newer highs. With this little sell-off, we made new highs. A little deeper sell-off, we made new highs. So when we start to sell off again, traders are thinking this is easy. All you have to do is buy more or buy back again, and it'll just continue over and over again. It's just so simple. But then this happens, right? So what happened to your trading plan? It worked well until it didn't work well anymore. Well, here's where the beauty of the PTS Primo Charts University comes in, because with one of the dozens, if not hundreds of different ways to put together a trading plan, you could have had an early warning right here that the market was getting toppy, that it may be running out of steam, and perhaps this wasn't the best place to buy on this little dip. And then once we had this established extremely strong downtrend, this same tool on our platform that you could have developed into your own trading plan gave you its first warning that perhaps we're running out of steam to the downside. Then again, just a week later, it gave you a second warning. And then a day later, it screened a third warning that this move to the downside was just about out of steam, and that you should, if you were short, cover your shorts, or if you were considering going long, now is a good time to think about it. So when everyone else was calling for a depression, this tool was signaling that the trend was about to change, and we all know what's been happening up until the first or second week in July. Now, wouldn't you like to know what this tool is telling us right now? Is it saying that there is more room left to the upside, or is it telling us that we're running out of steam and that perhaps we're going to start a second leg down? This is what we will be teaching you in the university and how you can apply it to your own trading plan. So welcome. My name is Steven Primo, president and founder of Specialist Trading, and I've teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies with one goal in mind, and that is simply to educate traders. That's why we formulated the university. Education is what's missing from most students' trading plans. They come to us from around the world in over 115 countries in all states of the United States, thinking that they really know how to trade, but they're not seeing the type of results they want. And then after a couple of weeks with us, most traders say, boy, I never realized trading could be this simple and this easy. Plus, I never realized that I was able to become consistent after all the hard work and most especially the money I've put in trying to become a consistent trader. Nothing worked until finally we came to Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategy. So these are the type of testimonials we get, and this is why we formulated the university. Now, I know this firsthand because when I first started trading some 40 years ago, I struggled just like many of you perhaps are struggling right now. I started trading 43 years ago on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist is someone who specialized in making markets. So if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, for example, IBM, which is one of the stocks I specialized in, you would tell your broker in turn would call the floor broker. The floor broker would walk up to the trader who specialized in IBM, which was me, and then he'd ask me, he wanted to buy or sell certain amount of shares, and I would accommodate him. So that's the way it used to be run before it got electronically, taken over. So I did that, and I made markets in roughly about 60 stocks during the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So in my 16 years on the floor and in my total of 43 years of trading, I know what works in terms of consistency and I know what doesn't. So in the university, we've applied all the things that have shown high levels of consistency so that once again, you can put together your own trading plan. So we share with you the knowledge and then we apply that knowledge seamlessly on our trading plan, our trading platform, I should say. So it's going to be a great class. I'm going to share with you exactly what's offered and what is in the curriculum. But before we begin today, please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results with what exactly is offered on our university, PTS Primo Charts University. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you right now will be repeated in the future. And also please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. So as you're taking once again a brief moment to view our disclaimer, I'd like to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. I would suggest copying that down because every day we post different new information on a daily basis. It could be anywhere from signals our strategies have generated, little bits of financial wisdom, to ideas about what the trend is and how long it's going to last. So there's lots of great free educational information, so feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, we are first and foremost an educational company. So how does that separate us from the other webinars you may have attended? Well, the other webinars firstly tell you what they think the market's going to do, or they provide you with setups and they say, this is what you should do. You should buy the stock or sell this stock, or this is the best time frame to trade, or the best market to trade. You see, they're telling you how to trade. We never do that. That's what separates us as specialist trading. Since we are an educator and since you're a student, we teach you things that have high levels of consistency so that you can make the decision. You see, that's the difference. We will never tell you what to do because that's not what a good educator does. A good educator teaches you how to trade, but does not trade for you. In my 43 years of trading, the only traders that have ever become consistent, that have been able to trade 30, 40, 50 years down the road, are the ones that make their own trading decisions. I don't know any traders who've been trading more than 20 years who go every day to a blog to find out what they should buy or sell, or go to a chat room to find out what this guy likes, or listen with bated breath to all the earnings and find out what the jobless claims are going to be. None of those traders who have been trading for decades ever listen to that because they already know in their mind what they want to do and they don't, as my mentors call, listen to that outside noise. So that's what our goal is, to get you to that point where you don't have to rely on anyone or anything else. You just have to focus on the education and then make up your own trading plan. So as you can see, our goal is not to force feed you signals, not to tell you how to trade or what to trade, not to tell you what the perfect time frame is or the perfect market the way the other websites do. We don't believe in that. That would be doing you a disservice. Our goal is simply, as an educator, to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. The same edge that taught me when I was struggling my first year or two on the floor, and what I believe has sustained me now for 43 years. Now, once again, I like to take as many questions as possible, but since I have a lot of slides to share with you, please wait till the end of class to ask questions. I promise I'll get to each and every one. If you happen to have a problem with technical issues, like sometimes people can't hear the sound clearly, or maybe you don't see the page clearly in front of you, oftentimes it's your own internet connection. So probably the best thing to do is to log off and then log back on again. Maybe it's your internet connection. If you're still having technical issues, we will send to each and every one of you a link to this recording, okay? So if you happen to join us late, we have a good crowd here today. Please wait till the end of class to ask any questions. Okay, so let's begin today's educational presentation. And I want to start out, remember, by telling you that we're talking about the PTS Primo Charting University. This is a new course that we're going to be starting in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be live classes. But let's start out with the reasons why we formulated this. Remember, it's an educational company, specialist trading and pro trader strategy. So why would we want to educate you so much? Well, remember, we formulated the PTS Primo Charting Platform that teaches you how to listen to the market. So let's start out with the facts. 80% of all traders will lose money, okay? Now, most of you say, well, sure, I've lost money before. That's no big deal, right? Well, no, when we say 80% of all traders lose money, we mean that you lose everything. basically 80%, if we have 100 people in class today, 80 of you will eventually lose everything that you've set aside for trading. That's a terrible statistic. Secondly, this means that 15% of all traders will break even. So once again, if we have 100 in class today, that means only 15 of you will basically be treading water. Sure, you'll be not losing anything, but for all your hard work, time, energy, and money, you won't be having anything to show for it. So ultimately, this means that only 5%, 5 of you out of the 100, are consistently profitable. That's amazing. Only 5 of you, we have 100 in class today, only 5 of you will consistently make profits. If you want to see what that looks like on a pie chart, this section in red here represents the majority of traders who will wind up being losers. This sliver in blue shows the percentage of traders that will break even, and this very small sliver here in green is the percentage of all traders that will be profitable on a consistent basis. So we have to ask ourselves, how is it possible that the majority of all trading profits are captured by such a small percentage of traders? Now, I've been trading long enough to come to this mindset and concept that there are enough profits for everyone to go around. I mean, I know a lot of you have been taught that, well, for every winner, there must be a loser, okay? Well, sure, you can think that mindset. I'm not saying it's not necessarily true, but that's also like saying, well, for every breath I take in, someone is breathing out, so I'm taking their breath. I mean, that's silly. Why would you think that? Because there's enough air, there's enough oxygen to go around for everyone. So that's the way I look at the markets. There are enough profits to go around for everyone. It's not a finite source. There's enough for everyone to take. But for some reason, only 5% are able to take those profits. So how is it possible that only a small little slice of all the traders are able to capture these profits? It's actually simpler than you think, because these traders, whether they know it or not, know the importance of educating themselves. They've all educated themselves so that they can make their own trading decisions. I know most of you say, well, Steve, how do I educate? I thought I was educating myself. I took that class on the institutions. I took that, I read those books on candlestick trading. I took that course, that online course on support and resistance. Remember, they're really not so much educating you as they're pushing their agenda on you, telling you this is what works. This is our system that never fails. Our agenda is different. Sure, we're pushing an agenda on you, but it's things that have stood the test of time. These are things that have actually worked and continue to work. So educating yourself is the key to being consistent. All right, so who is this course for that we actually prepared for with the university? Well, this course is designed for students who want to take full advantage of our well-rounded trading education, while at the same time having access to a vehicle that can implement that knowledge with just one click of their mouse. You see, when I first started specialist trading about 12 years ago, the only way one could learn the things that I've accumulated in my 4 decades of trading was through the online classes and online courses. And that was fine for that period of time. That was great because you just would look at the videos whenever you want. But it was a little difficult. What if you had a question you wanted to contact me? Or what if you had a misunderstanding? Or what if the video was faulty or it really wasn't explaining it the way maybe it would be able to see it happening in real time? Well, we've taken it up a notch with the advent of high-speed computers and with programmers. That's why we designed the platform. All right. So how can this course teach us how to listen to the market? Because ultimately, that's what we're trying to teach you, to listen to the market. Well, let's look at the curriculum, okay? Let's look at what we're going to be offering in this live 5-week class that I'm going to be teaching you. In week 1, we're going to be talking about the core concepts of trading. These are the most basic and fundamental things that are going to lead you on the path of consistency. For example, excuse me, let's look at this chart here in ZM. Most traders would say, well, Steve, you always teach us to be in sync with the trend. You always tell us about how important trend is. So this is a downtrend, right? So I want to short or I want to be out of the way of this stock. Well, with what we teach you in the core concept of week number 1, this is not a downtrend at all. It's actually an overall uptrend. So where most traders would be avoiding this stock or looking to sell, we're actually looking to buy. And as you can see, what happened to the downtrend, okay? You would have had a higher level of consistency if you viewed this portion of Zoom as an overall uptrend, buying opportunity. And the same thing works on the other side. As we look at CHK, Most traders would say, well, Steve, that chat room I went to loves this stock. Look, it's going straight up. There are rumors that it's going to take off. It hasn't even begun yet. So I bought some right here on this day. And look, I have a really nice profit for this day. I'm going to hold on. Maybe I'm going to buy some more. Well, what we teach you in week 1 is that we're not in an uptrend. In fact, we couldn't be any further from an uptrend. The overall trend is actually down. And where you had 1 day profit, you would have had to have been quick, because look what happened after that. You see, you would have had a higher level of consistency looking to sell as opposed to buy. So this is what's extremely important. This is just one of the many things we teach you in the core concepts of trading in week 1. Now, in week 2, we go up to a different level. We talk about the only 2 types of trade setups. I know many of you have been taught, wait a minute, only 2 types of trade setups. I've always been taught there are, breakouts, pullbacks, consolidation trades, support resistant trades, indicator trades. But in reality, if you really look at the common denominators, there are only 2 types of trade setups. One of the main reasons why traders fail is because they're out of sync with one of these types of trade setups. They either think they should be trading in type 1 when they actually should be trading in type 2 and vice versa. For example, let me just share with you just the tip of the iceberg of what we mean here. Now, type 1 generates multiple signals. So if you're the type of trader who likes to trade a lot, you want to get in and out of the market quickly, you're not a long-term investor, you like to trade a lot, you're a type 1 type of setup trader. So this is what you're looking for, and this is what we offer on the course. Now, say you're not a type 1 trader. Say you like to trade maybe once a month. Well, type 2 traders prefer fewer signals. So you would then want to study this course, which only will generate these high probability signals at lower levels, and you can stay in for the long run. You see, once again, where most traders fail is because they think they're a type 1 when they're actually a type 2 and vice versa. So you have to do a little soul searching and find out what type of trader you are. Also, type number 1 traders like to take a lot of risk. They don't mind buying high and selling higher. They don't mind, buying and holding on for a little bit more before they get out for the next trade. Where type 2 traders like minimal risk, they only want 1 or 2 trades and they want to hold on. So these are the 2 types of trade setups that you have to look for. And then once you really get in line, aligned with what type fits your nature, that's when consistency starts to flow. We'll cover that in detail in week number 2. In week number 3, we take it up a notch by talking about trends, because as you know, we're all about trading in sync with a trend. At Specialist Trading, you will never buy low and sell high. You'll never try to pick a bottom or pick a top. We believe in buying high and selling higher, selling low and buying back lower. Okay? Why? Because we're in sync with the trend. We're never going to try and buck the trend. The only difficulty is most websites, most so-called educators and their brothers have a different idea of what it's like to discern what the trend is. I'm going to share with you all our different ways to find out what the trend is, and in my opinion, some of the best ways because they detect the trend earlier than other methods. For example, once again, let's look at this chart in Apple. But before it took off, most traders would say, well, Steve, I've always been taught that candlesticks are reversal patterns. Candle patterns are reversal. So if I see a bearish engulfing pattern right here, that means that the small little uptrend is going to reverse. So obviously, we're in the very beginning of a downtrend. Well, not really, because with the tool I'm going to be sharing with you, that actually told us this was the beginning of an uptrend. And then from May coming into July, Apple has been going straight up. Now, another thing we're going to be teaching you in this week is how strong a trend is, because that's half the battle as well, right? You want to get in when the trend is beginning, and you want to be able to get out when the trend is running out of steam. So we need to know the strength of the trend. And that's another tool I talked about earlier that helps you tremendously. This is a tool I developed with Pro Trader Strategies that has an uncanny ability to see when a trend still has strength in it or is running out of steam. Now, where most traders would say, well, Steve, sure, I made a good trade here in Apple, but that chat room I go to says that it's running out of steam right here. It's extremely overbought. All right, you've got to get out of all your long positions. And sure, it's a good long-term buy, but maybe you want to buy back here where the institutions were buyers, right back here. So this is overbought. I'm going to exit and get out. All right. Well, with this tool, it said, no, this is not overbought at all. In fact, there was still room to the upside, which you see continued to go up. Now, this is the same tool I talked about earlier that gave you a first warning that we were running out of steam, gave you a second warning, and a third warning. Now remember, this tool is not designed to get you in at the bottom or top. It's simply designed to give you a warning so that to help you make your own decisions. Remember, we're all about giving you this information so that you can make your good decisions. Remember, a good mentor does not trade for you, he teaches you. So we're trying to give you this education to teach you so that you can ultimately use it as a point of reference. Now, had you used the same tool, you would have known that the market was ready for a nice uptrend. Now, is the current rally that's coming into July here running out of steam, or does it still have strength? Once you become a member of the university, you'd be able to apply this tool and find out. All right, now let's take it up a notch, because up until now, all we've talked about are concepts and ideas. Let's now add some structure in the form of a strategy, because a strategy now uses all the pieces of the puzzle and tells you where to buy, where to sell, where to exit, where to place your stop, where to trail the trade if you want to, all right? These are all different things that we offer, upwards of 7 different ways for each category. Let me just share with you one way in which you could have taken advantage of Apple, all right? Now, since we're trading strategy number 4, in our upper green strategy tab on our educational platform, you find strategy 4, click it on, and in the drop-down menu, you'll see all these different variables. Now, say you thought that there was a strategy 4 signal being generated, because we teach you how to identify them, and we want you to identify them in the course. To check your work, you would click on signal arrows, and you were correct. There's a strategy number 4 buy signal. So you were right. You're learning how to identify them on your own. Now, let's say you want to add some type of entry. You could use just one of our different entries, which is our confirmation entry, and that would tell you automatically on the platform where you should be entering. Now, we teach you upwards of 7 different exit points, methods. Here is just one of those methods, our range extensions. They automatically are applied on our platform, and they automatically generate exit levels. You can exit here, 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 or here. It's entirely up to you. So do you see how we're teaching you all of these things, because they're all explained in the course, but then you have a visual representation on our platform so that they're just not concepts the way they used to be with our online courses. Now you can actually see them up front with one-click access on your chart. So now you're learning how they're constructed, and then you can see them on the chart. Now, in the last week, the week 5, we talk about money management techniques. Now, we talk about everything from advanced techniques to very basic risk-reward ratios and how to apply them. But even the simplest thing, which is stop placement, we have as well. Now, we teach you upwards of 7 different stop placements. If you're the type of trader that likes small risk, we teach you which stops to use for that. If you don't mind large risk, we teach you what you can use for that. For example, on our platform, remember, we teach you what to look for and how to apply it in the online course. But then on the platform, for learning purposes, you can actually see it with your own eyes by clicking on stop placement. And here's one of our generic stop placements right here, okay? Now, you can also apply it to the downside. Here's a strategy number, no, this is an actual different strategy, but this is an example of using our stop placement. Once you click that on, you'll see here's our generic stop. And as the trade is going lower, you can simply track it with all the new signals. So where your stop was up here, let's say you want to stay in the trade longer, every time an arrow appears, you just click it on again, and there's your next one. Every time you get another signal, click it on again, and there's your next one. So now you can track the trade all the way down and use this as a trailing stop. This is just one of the many different ways to construct a trading plan. So this is it. 5-week class curriculum, 1 through 5. Here is an example now of just one of the daily trading plans you'll be able to execute with the help of the new PTS Primo Charts University. Remember, there are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of plans that you'll be able to construct on your own. Just let me share with you one of the most basic formats. All right, let's take it step by step. Step 1, the first thing you want to do is perform a nightly strategy number 4 scan. All right, how do you do that? Someone say, well, gosh, I don't know how to do that. On our platform, once you open up the platform, it'll look like this. Once again, go to the green strategy tab, find strategy number 4, click that on, and in the drop-down menu, click on scanner. you'll see this page appear. This is our strategy number 4 scan page. Now come to the left corner here, you'll see load symbol list. And we provide you with symbol lists from European exchanges, Asian exchanges, cryptocurrencies, futures markets, intraday markets, NASDAQ 100, S&P. It's up to you to decide, okay? Let's just make it simple. And once you click on load symbols, let's click on the Dow, all right, the Dow 30. And this just automatically appears in like a half a second. Now, once you've done that, just click on scan. It's that simple because it already knows it's scanning for strategy 4. And in about 30 seconds, you see a series of red and green horizontal bars. The red bars mean there's a sell signal in the corresponding stock. The green ones mean there's a buy signal, okay? It's that simple. This whole process, which took me a couple of minutes to explain to you right now, probably takes less than 30 seconds if you've been practicing for a while and know how to do it like the back of your hand. And you'll be able to look on a nightly basis for which setups you want, okay? So this is step 1. And if we see here, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a buy signal generated in Amazon on the 29th of June. Now, step 2, we use our one-click entry, stop, and exit levels. These are the generic, most basic ones you can use on our platform. These are found in our drop-down menu. You can also double-click on the arrow to have access. There's one of our generic entries. This is called a confirmation entry, which is just above the setup bar. Now, where do you want to exit? Well, I'm sorry, where do you want to place your stop? Right here. This is one of our generic stops. This is called stop placement number 2. Okay? And then lastly, where do you want to exit? Well, you can apply the range extension exits. You can exit at each level if you want. You can, some of our traders like to exit everything here. Others like to exit everything at the top one. It's entirely up to you. The only thing we suggest is that once you get up to the top level, the 4th exit level, you should exit the position entirely because most likely the trend is about to change. So next step is to simply decide for yourself if you want to take the trade or not. Remember, you are in charge. We are not a systematic company. We don't keep statistics because that would mean that everyone has to trade the same way. So if you've come here today thinking like, God, Steve, this is great. What's the win-loss ratio? What's the worst case drawdown? Well, we don't keep those statistics because that means everyone would have to trade the same way. We don't believe in that. You have to find your own way. We're just providing you with this information. If we had a statistic, that would mean everyone had to use the same way to enter. Everyone had to use the exact same way to exit. Everyone had to use the exact same way to place your stop. And that's a recipe for disaster. You should never do that. It's just like going to a chat room and finding out what they like. Well, if that works so well, once again, why do 80% of all traders fail? It's because you're not making the decision. They're making the decision. You have to be in charge of your own trading destiny. That's why step 3 is you decide whether or not you want to take the trade. So all this information is readily available before you would even enter. And then you can decide, okay, I think I'll take it. I don't mind placing a stop here. If you decided to get in and out quickly, if you were one of those traders, well, guess what? In one day, you would have had a nice profit here of, gosh, I guess about 65 points. Now, if you wanted to get out at this level, you would have waited one more day, and guess what? You were. Now, let's say you wanted to exit at level number 4. Well, a couple more days later, and you would have done that, and it went higher, but look at now, it's starting to fall out of bed. But that's over 260 points in just 4 days. Now, remember, you could have purchased a call option, some type of spread strategy with an upward bias, or you could have purchased the stock. We're not here to tell you what to buy. It's your decision. We're just sharing with you high probability entries, stop placements, and exit levels. This is all going to be done for you, laid out in a trading plan on the university. Now we can do this to the downside as well. Using the same basic format, we have our entry one tick below, our stop placement at stop placement level number 2, and our exit levels. Let's say we had decided to get out at the 4th exit level. Well, in about a week's time, we would have made 14 points. But remember, this is why we teach you that it's most likely you should exit everything at this level because that's where the trend changes. And someone would have said, well, Steve, I covered here and made 14 points, but it closed lower. Yes, but look what happened after that. So this is why we teach you these things that have stood the test of time, that have high levels of consistency. And you'll only find them on our platform in the new PTS Primo Charts University. So please stop making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Our new PTS Primo Charts University can help you become a more efficient trader and take you to that next level. Become a student of the PTS Primo Charts University. Remember, it's a 5-week course where I will be teaching live classes. We're going to keep them as intimate as possible. We don't want a type of class where we have, like today, 70, 80 people. We don't want a class like that because it's not intimate enough. And sometimes there's just too many questions and people feel like, well, he's never going to answer mine. There's just too many ahead of me, so I won't ask the question. We want to keep it very simple and basic. So if you're interested, please sign up quickly. Now, let's break it down. If you purchased all of this information individually, which has taken me over 40 years to accumulate, taken us years to put together on the platform, it would cost you close to $20,000. That's how valuable this is. I know many of you have purchased courses like this, which cost close to $20,000. We're not going to get even close to offering you that. Our regular price is $49.95. We're discounting it today on Saturday, down $500, down to $44.95. But we still understand that that may be a little bit difficult for some people to come up with, so we're offering for unlimited time payment plans. So for a small deposit, you can still be up and running in the class. You just make a payment plan. Now, on top of that, for the first 100 members, we have a bonus. You'll receive 12 months of the PTS Primo Charting platform free. So if you're brand new to our site, if you've never heard of us, or you've been thinking about becoming a student, if you become part of the university, you'll get the first year of the PTS Primo Charts free, which is a great way to learn. Now, if you already have the platform, not to worry. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They're very flexible. They can put something together with you and offer you some type of offer or difference or discount because you're already a qualified student of ours. Now remember, there really is a holy grail. I know most of you are searching for that. There is a perfect trading method that generates amazing results. Here's the only problem. It's not a system. It's not an indicator that no one's ever heard of. It's not some teacher that gives you buy and sell signals that never lose. It's called educating yourself. That's the only thing that will help you on that road to consistency. There's nothing out there that's going to solve your problem other than you educating yourself. So please come on board. Here's how to sign up and become a student of mine in this course. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. I developed the course. They're in charge of the tech support for the platform. They're also in charge of all the pricing and the discounts. So if you want to establish a payment plan, or if you already have the platform and you want some type of discount, they're very flexible. They would be more than happy to work with you. There's absolutely no obligation. You can get a price and think about it. But the only way you can do that is by contacting them at area code 310-598-6677. And remember, there's no obligation. So don't be afraid to call and think they're going to try and sell you a $5,000 course without your approval. They're just there to help you. If you want to join, it's your decision, okay? Just like trading, you make your own decision. They're just there to help you, give you a quote, you can think about it. Now, that link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the online sign-up. There's also more information about the course on that link page. But that's not a live link, so we've posted a live link on the chat box. If you go to the GoToWebinar column on the far right, look under chat, there's a live link there, and you can click that on. It will take you to the sign-up page, okay? Now, I promised you I would reserve the last portion of today's class for any questions. So if you have them, please go to the question and answer section, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. Someone's asking, does your methods and techniques, do they work on intraday trading? Yes, they do. In fact, I often state this. I'm an intraday trader because of my background trading on the floor. You know, when I was trading on the stock exchange floor, many times I would buy and sell 10 times, buying and selling in this time span of 5 or 10 minutes. So my background is really in intraday trading. So I continue to be an intraday trader. I trade the E-mini futures, and everything we teach in the course can be applied to intraday trading. It can also be applied to investing. If you have someone out there who's an investor who you like to hold on to a position, everything can be applied to that time frame as well, okay? Someone else is asking, can this be applied for commodities? Yes, it can be. In fact, we get some tremendous signals with commodities because they trend so well. I know a lot of traders were considering, when the market was falling out of bed, excuse me, in March, they were considering moving on to the commodities markets because commodities are a more safe haven and they're actually real, they're tangible, they're not just concepts like stocks. And so I said, that's fine. Every strategy, every method, every technique can easily be applied. In fact, some webinars I often show like live cattle or coffee or crude oil because they can be applied just as well. All right. Does this system work in Indian stock market? Yes, it does. We have many Indian students who use it in that market, the Nifty 50 futures and other markets as well. In fact, we had someone who uses these that contacted me just a couple of days ago saying that for the first time, they've become a consistent trader using this on the Indian Stock Exchange. They're trading the Nifty 50 futures over there, and they said it's amazing how well it's helped them. So it's not that these methods and techniques are only being applied to stocks that are in the U.S. or in Europe. They simply look for patterns or for concepts to be met based off price. So it doesn't matter if that price is coming from a European market, it's coming from an Asian market, it's coming from the Indian market. It doesn't matter if that price is coming from a commodity or Bitcoin or futures. They all continue to generate the same patterns, and that's where a lot of our signals are generated. But you learn all this. Remember, this is not a black box. This is not something where we just furnish you with up and down arrows. They're there for educational purposes to teach you. Our goal is to get you to learn how to spot all this information on your own without having to click on the arrows and all of the stop placement and entry. You'll know exactly where they are. They're just there to educate you to check your work, okay? Remember, this is a university. We are educating you, but our goal is for you to be able to decide and do all of this on your own. It's not for you to use us as a crutch, okay? Good questions. Lastly, someone's asking, I already have the platform. How can this help me? Can I get a discount? I can't quote you on whether what your discount will be because that's in charge of Pro Trader Strategies. They're in charge of all the pricing and discounts. But I know they're flexible. Yes, they would be more than happy to work with you because you've already purchased the platform. So yes, they will be more than happy to be flexible, to be able to give you something, an option you'll be interested in. So you're already a qualified customer of ours. So why would they, not want to take care of you? All right. All right. Good questions. Remember, this is going to be a live 5-week class. People are asking also, when are these classes? Well, most likely they will start at the end of this month in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We will be having them once a week, not every day, but usually we have our classes that are live on Friday, and usually we have them for anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. So it's up to you. If we have too many students, we'll probably have a second class. But remember, we don't want to have these large classes the way we did in the beginning where there were hundreds of people. It's just not intimate enough, and some people are afraid to ask questions because there's just too many people asking questions. So we want to keep them down to a small unit, so sign up right away so you can get in this intimate class. And then if we get 20 or so more overlapping, then we'll form a second class that will teach a day later, okay? Now, we're always flexible in terms of the day. If you can't make it Friday, perhaps we can change it to a different day of the week, maybe even on the weekend. We're open to that as well. We've had classes on Saturdays and Sundays, as we're having today, and we can do it before the opening, after the market closes, during the market. It's entirely up to you. We just have to have a majority vote on this where it helps most people, because we have students in Europe, we have students in Scandinavia, in India, we have students in the United States, so we have to try and fit a time frame that accommodates all of them, okay? Someone is asking, can they get it for a small time period for 1 month? Well, no, this is a 5-week class. You can't just get it. You have to purchase the class, but you can get a payment plan. So contact Pro Trader Strategies. Remember, all of the pricing and all of the course, discounts and all that information is answered through Pro Trader Strategies. I'm just involved in the teaching and in terms of trying to instruct you on how to trade. In terms of, can I qualify for this price? Can I transfer this strategy instead of this one? Pro Trader Strategies are the ones you want to talk to. And remember, there's absolutely no obligation. They would be more than happy to accommodate you and make you feel happy, okay? As we close, remember, our duty as a mentor is not to trade for you, it's to educate you. Now, I know, ask yourself, if you have already purchased that $10,000 system that's supposed to work so great, how is it working for you now, okay? Are you getting the type of results you wanted? Or if you have that teacher that's supposed to generate these signals for you and just give you a nightly signal, a report, how is that working for you? Are you in that 80 percentile of traders that are losing all the time? I, as your mentor, want to put you in that 5% where you're able to consistently make profits. That's my goal. And one of the best ways I know how we can do that together is by becoming a student of mine in the new PTS Primo Charts University. Take advantage of this. Be one of the first students to sign up for this course. Remember, get this deep discount before it goes even higher, probably in the next couple of weeks, okay? As we close and take one last look at our disclaimer, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your Saturday this morning to come and join me. And I wish you the best of luck trading. But mostly, I look forward to all of you in class becoming a student of mine in the PTS Primo Charts University. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.